First things first, most important question of the night. Who here follows me on Facebook? And that's like 2 people. What about Instagram? All right, more important. Who follows my wife on Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat? Some of you? All right, well, if you do, then you are in the inside. If you don't, surprise, she's pregnant. So, she's like 16 and a half weeks pregnant. So in August, later on, we'll be having a baby. I'm gonna be a little daddy. And so that's in a couple months. Now, a couple months ago, 2 months ago actually, who knows what happened? What happened 2 months ago? No, 58 days ago, here's a hint, it was a holiday. It was a big holiday.
Your anniversary?
No, it was a worldwide celebrated holiday 58 days ago. Christmas! Thank you guys. Isn't it funny how quick we forget stuff? Like, just happened 58 days ago and we're already just caught up on Fergie messing up the national anthem. Oh, it was terrible. Don't look it up if you did. I'm sorry. But 58 days ago was Christmas, and I don't know about for y'all, but for me it was probably the best Christmas of my life. To this point, I had, my whole family came down, Car's whole family came down. It was a blast. We had people from California, Texas, West Virginia, DC, Georgia, and Bolivia, and Florida. So I mean, we came from all over. We had 8 people in her house. There were 19 people in my house. In case you didn't know, I have 10 siblings, plus wives and everything like that. So it was a pretty good Christmas. And if you don't know how to hang 19 stockings over a fire, neither do we. We had to use the wall. I think I got a picture of it. Just nailed the stockings to the wall. And this past Christmas, I also met my niece, Charlie, for the first time. There's a picture of her as well. So cute. Isn't she precious? Oh, bundled up. So it was a good Christmas. You know, if you have ever bought a baby a gift, I'm sorry for you. If you haven't, don't. It's a waste of money. Because you're gonna spend 25 bucks on a toy that has every single light and color and sound known to mankind, and you're gonna give it to the little baby, and the baby's gonna be playing with the wrapping paper all day long. It's horrible. Just give them the wrapping paper, that's all they want. Or, have you guys ever given, like, to one of your siblings a present, they had a big box, and they ignored the present and play in the box? That's so frustrating. I would never do that. That just irks me when people do that. It drives me up the wall. I would never jump in a box that I got like a mattress in or something like that. It's just frustrating. Liar. Cara! No, I planned that, don't worry. But it's annoying when you spend money on a gift and people play with the junk that it came with. When we were together this past Christmas though, we were all just reminiscing about the good old days when we were kids, and with Cara's family in particular, there's one story that stood out to me. Now, Cara is the youngest of 3, the youngest of 4 girls. She has 3 older siblings. And when they were little, they would play dress up all the time. You know, living 70 miles from Disney, they had every single princess gift, princess dress in the world. They had pearls, they had skirts, they had little tiaras, not fake pearls. They had everything. I'm talking like they had the works. It was funny because when they were telling stories, one of the things that they all remembered about playing dress up is they all wanted the same costume. They would all run, as soon as it was tea time, they'd all run to the costume box, start rifling through it, going for the perfect costume. And actually, believe it or not, they dug up, and they still have that costume. And what they all fought over, what they all wanted so bad, was this right here. This is literally it. This is what they would kill each other over. And when I started asking, I was like, you guys had like a box. I'm talking a big box full of costumes, and they'd fight over this. And Cara had to explain it to me. There's a couple reasons. First off, you could be made marionette with this. Secondly, apparently they were all stick figures back then because they said they wore like a hula skirt. Ooh la la. Right? Or another thing they did with it is they could, if you were playing pretend, you could have a broken arm. So it's multi-purpose, right? It's got a few good purposes in it, but it's a rag. This did not deteriorate over time. I asked. It looked like junk back then too. It's a rag, and they would fight each other over it. And looking back as 24, 26, 28, 30, the oldest is now 30, they're looking back and they're saying, man, I can't believe we used to fight over that. That's so funny. But I couldn't help but think, what are the things in our lives that 10 years from now we're going to laugh about? Like, oh, I can't believe I had wanted that so bad. Like, do you guys, who here has the newest iPhone? iPhone 7? 8. I'm sorry. See, that's how out of the loop I am. I remember when the first one came out. I remember specifically when the 3 came out. Believe it or not, the first one didn't have a camera. They didn't even have the outside camera. No, the 3 did. And I wanted the 3 so bad. And I saved up my money. And I bought the iPhone 3. And I still have it to this day. And I love this thing. It doesn't have a front camera. You can't take selfies. You gotta take selfies like this. But I saved up all my money and I got it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, man, this thing's junk. It doesn't even run iOS 4. And we're looking back and we're like, man, it's a rag. What are they arguing about rag? But I wanna ask you guys, what are the things in your life that you're gonna look back in 15 years and say, I remember when all I wanted was the iPhone 8, iPhone 10. Oh, I remember so much when all I wanted to be was cool in high school. Like, what a lame thing to want to be cool in high school. Trust me, guys, it's not that great. Or you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, man, I remember all I was chasing after. I spent all my energy focused on getting a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And we're gonna look back. I wonder, what are the things in our lives that we're gonna look back in 50 years, 500 years, 5,000 years? I'm not messing that up. Because everybody in this room is gonna be alive in 5,000 years, right? What are the things in 5,000 years you're gonna look back and say, man, I chased after money? That was stupid of me. Look, I was so dumb when I was 50 and I was chasing after money. Because we all have a soul, right? Everybody in this room is going to live forever. I want you to imagine with me right now that this rope goes on forever and ever. Take that. Find the end. Where's the end? I don't know where the end is either. Oh no, we got a knot. All right, but imagine this rope goes on forever and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever. It doesn't. Joey found the end. It doesn't go on forever, obviously. It has an end. But imagine with me that it did. Imagine if this went all the way out of the building, wrapped around Abundant Life 7 or 8 times, then went down the highway, across the whole state, into the water, across the ocean, into Paris, wrapped around the Eiffel Tower about 500 times. Like, this thing goes on forever. Now imagine this is a timeline of your life. Okay? Now let's take it a step further. This black part is your time on Earth. And what blows my mind is we spent so much of our energy focused on this little black line when we were going to live forever and ever and ever. And you know, most of us don't even spend all our time on this little black line. We work and we say, okay, if from here to here I get really good grades, then I can get into a good college. And from here to here, I can get into a really good college. And that means that if I go to a good college from here to here, I'm gonna have a good job. And then I can retire right about here and then live to here and enjoy time with my grandkids. If you think that far ahead, most of us don't. Doesn't it seem a little backwards that we focus our energy on this? Look at what Paul said about this. He said, So fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. All throughout the Bible, Jesus, Paul, God is saying, focus on eternity. Focus on what's happening forever. Stop focusing on this itty-bitty little amount. It doesn't make sense. And when Jesus is teaching and he's saying, blessed are the meek in this life, because they're going to inherit the kingdom. And people are saying, well, that's stupid. Don't bless the poor. People are looking at Paul, and Paul's like, you can kill me. I don't care. Paul's focused on the kingdom. Right? Thomas goes to Asia, gets martyred. People look at him like, you're stupid. He's like, no, you guys are stupid. You're the stupid ones. You're focused on this little black piece. You got eternity in front of you. Because everything we do, guys, is going to wind up one of two ways. It's going to be a reward, or it's going to be a regret. That's what it boils down to. You got some money, you're either going to regret spending it, or you're going to be rewarded for giving it away. You're either going to regret not sharing your faith with people on the bus, or you're going to be rewarded for sharing your faith with people on the bus. You're either going to regret not seeking after God, or you're going to be rewarded for seeking after God. It can only go one of two ways. It's not that hard. In Colossians, Paul writes, goes on, and he says, set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. It's throughout the Bible. It's simple. It's going to be a reward or it's going to be a regret. It's not that complex. Now, if it's not that complex, why do people have regrets? Simple enough question. If it's as simple as I make it out to be, reward or regret, why does anybody have a regret? Because I would say everybody in this room has some regret to some extent, right? Who here has done something you wish you hadn't? Who here has done something you're proud of? How come, if it's so easy as focus on all this, we don't? Why is it so easy to not focus on eternity? All right? That's my question. And I think I have the answer. Now, I don't know. Nobody's ever... People have told me this, but I've never tried this. I have been told that fire burns me. I'm one of those people that more like I have to learn through experience. I'm not good in the classroom setting. So I've been told that fire burns. I'm not 100% positive they're telling the truth. My mom always told me, don't play with fire, you're gonna get burned. I don't know. Doesn't seem that bad. Can you guys see that? All right. Let's see if I get burned. Oh. Looks like I've been lied to my whole life. I was told, fire burns. This doesn't burn. That doesn't burn me. Look, it's not a problem. Why is this not burning me? Do we have scientists in the room? I'm gonna put my, yes I am. Look, my hand was right on it. Right on it. Why is this not burning? Is this magic fire? Did I create magic fire that doesn't burn? Can I sell this on the internet? Why is this not burning me? Because I'm going through. Because I'm not staying. If I put my hand right here for 5 minutes, it would melt my hand. My fingers would weld together. My skin would melt. It would destroy all my nerves. I'd have to go to the hospital. They would probably surgically slice apart my fingers so that they would be separate again. They'd probably take skin off of my calf or something, off my thigh, graft it on. Maybe in a year or two, I could move my hand again. It would totally destroy it if I held it here for 5 minutes. But I can do this, right? That's because, got that time. Failure, much like success in anything, is not instant. You can't eat junk food for a week and then say, look how strong I am, junk food must be really good for you. If I ate junk food for a week straight and I could run a marathon at the end of the week, does that mean junk food's good for you? No, that doesn't even make sense. If you smoke one cigarette, you're not going to start coughing up blood with stage 4 lung cancer. That's not how it works. If that's how it worked, nobody would smoke. But when you're constantly in it, little by little, it eats away. That's why people have regrets, because the suffering of sin is not instantaneous. The suffering and the price of sin is not paid up front. If it was, we wouldn't have any regrets. It'd be simple. So, the key to life, it seems, based off of eternity, if we're going to live forever, and everything's going to be either a reward or a regret, the key is just to figure out what we're going to regret in 1,000 years. Does that make sense? Am I building a solid enough case? Are you guys tracking? Yes? It's pretty simple. It's going to be a reward. It's going to be a regret. You're going to live forever. How do you avoid the regrets? And it's really, really not that hard, guys. You just have to do this thing called self-examination based off of the Bible. And from Old Testament to New Testament, beginning to end, there are countless verses. I got a couple on screen. Let's go through them real quick. First off, David writes, I considered my ways and then turned my feet to your testimonies or to your truth. So what David did is he stopped and he said, whoa, 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 what am I doing? All right, now let me look at what God says. Oh, I need to turn this way. All right, next verse. We got, let us examine and probe our ways, and then let us turn to the Lord. You stop. Look, listen, wait, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then you turn to the Lord. Next verse. Now, therefore, thus says the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Maybe it's just me, but I think God literally just commanded us to evaluate our actions. Consider your ways. Look at what you're doing and ask yourself, why am I doing that in light of eternity? What's the next verse? Test yourselves to see if you are in the faith. Examine yourselves. What Paul is telling us to do is look at your life and say, why am I doing what I'm doing? In light of eternity, what are we focused on? Where is your focus? Look at this past week. What did you do? Maybe you gave away a lot of money this week. Why? Is it because you feel that that's a Christian thing to do? Ask yourself, what did I do this week? Okay, this week I smoked pot 4 times. Oh, okay. Well, why did I do that? Oh, it's because I'm in pain, and rather than trying to give that to Jesus, I try and numb it myself. Okay. Well, what did I do this week? Oh, I watched porn. Well, why did I do that? Oh, because I'm a selfish human being who wants what I want the way I want it when I want it. I need to give that to Jesus. In light of eternity, I'm going to look at what I'm doing, stop, examine your actions, and then pursue God in light of eternity. It's not that hard. No matter what you do, it's going to be a regret or it's going to be a reward. The way to avoid the regrets in 5, 6, 7,000 years, and my challenge to you guys, is to examine your action and your heart behind those actions. Because when I asked what happened 58 days ago, nobody had any clue. We're living life so fast. Fergie messed up the national anthem. Next week, it's going to be something else. Week after that, it's probably going to be back on Trump. Week after that, who knows what Brad Pitt and Angelina are going to do. Like, it's just flying by, where we don't even know what happened 58 days ago. But I think God truly wants us as a tribe to look at our lives, look at our actions, say, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? And turn to the Lord. One of my favorite stories of the Bible, one of the most classic parables of all time, is the prodigal son. You all know the story. If you don't, talk to me after. It's pretty simple. Son wants to spend his inheritance early, so he says, hey Dad, give me all my inheritance now. Then he goes, he blows it on strippers and cocaine. Then he's starving, and he's like, wait, why am I starving here? I need to go back to my father. Look at what it says in Luke. It goes, but when he came to his senses, he said, how many of my father's hired men have more than enough bread? But I am here dying with hunger. When he stopped, but when he came to his senses, I love that phrase. That's the beginning of a turnaround. When you stop and you say, wait, what am I doing here? Where am I? How did I get here? Where do I need to go? He came to his senses. He said, I'm starving right now. Where do I go to get food? And I think if we stop spiritually and we said, God, where am I spiritually? God has a tendency to open our eyes and say, look, this is where you are. This is where you need to be. And when we stop and evaluate, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Jesus comes alongside us and points us in the right direction. And that question is the beginning of a fulfilled and rewarding eternity. So I want to pray with you guys. And I want you guys to take this personally, as a personal challenge. If you want to tell your small group leader about it, but you don't have to. I want you sometime between now and Friday, before the end of the school week, to set aside a time, to stop. Think about where you're at spiritually. Ask yourself, how did you get there and where do you need to go? Because that question is the beginning of a very rewarding eternity. All right, let's pray.